Bypassing Fiverr fees. I have no problem with going offline with Fiverr. In fact, I'd like to go direct with some of my suppliers. Fiverr does monitor the messages, so I think this is feasible only if you have access to their websites. Not sure about going offline with Fiverr's own messages. Any thoughts? One thing that I would tell you to do, and again, I don't necessarily think you want to go off Fiverr with people, with everybody, because there are some people that would try to get you off Fiverr and then would pretty much abuse you. Whereas with Fiverr, you actually do have a lot of advantages in that you have the message board where if there was anything untoward, or with any site, you have the message board where you basically have a record of all communication. When I'm first working with somebody, I will only communicate back and forth using the message board, because if there's a problem and if it has to go to arbitration, then the only communication that is evaluated by the arbitrator on any of these sites, and I'm talking specifically about Freelancer, which used to be VWorker, which is where I did the majority and have done over the years the majority of my stuff with coders, as opposed to graphics and article and rewrite stuff on Fiverr. When I have had an issue, and I've only had an issue twice, but both times it was totally in my favor because all the message stuff was there. Also, this, by keeping it on the site, you can keep there from being scope creep. So you'll see somebody who will ask you, hey, well, while you're at it, would you mind doing this and this too? Well, if you're off Fiverr and the money is not escrowed, then the chances of them doing something, trying to get extra work out of you can be real. So the big thing is making sure that you really do want to have some type of a relationship with this person off of Fiverr, and you can only really know that after you've done a couple, 3, 4 projects with them. If you do want to go off of Fiverr and you're worried about getting busted and having your account shut down, something like that, what you want to do is look for a context that would make sense if someone were looking through the messages, why you would need to contact them separately. One reason would be to send them a file over a certain size, and I think it's 30 megabytes. I don't remember off the top of my head, but something that's bigger. So if you needed to send them something, then you could say, okay, well, I got to send you this so that you can evaluate it, but it's too big to send through Fiverr's system, so we can use WeTransfer, and so I just need an email. Now, if you enter an email address or a web address, then there's an automated thing in, okay, Tony says 50 megabytes is the Fiverr limit, so make sure whatever, used to be 30 anyway. Anything over 50 megabytes, just make sure that it's over 50 megabytes so you have a legitimate excuse. And this is just one way to do it. And then you would just not use the word email, and then if you give an email address, you would do like, jim@ebookfire.com. Now, again, and Brian says Fiverr's a good value, don't abuse their system. I agree. But there comes a point where you might have a project that it just doesn't fit for doing it on Fiverr. You develop a relationship with somebody, you want them to do something that's outside the realm of Fiverr, and it just naturally progresses. But I would say, honestly, that maybe 1 in 10 or 1 in 20 progresses to that point. And you're better off just paying the dollar, paying the 20%, whatever it is, to use their system, build your reputation, build your feedback, do some upsells. I mean, if you're not worried, if you're worried about not getting paid enough for a specific job, then just add another upsell. Do whatever you got to do. So I'm not a huge advocate of bypassing anybody. In fact, you want to use the site to protect yourself. And so only want to get away from it when it just kind of makes sense. I mean, I've got a programmer down in Chile that I've used for years that it's just easier now. We've got such a good relationship. I found him on VWorker, which became Freelancer, it just was so clunky to have to use VWorker to talk with him about project ideas and things I had, and I wanted to jump on Skype, and it just kind of built from there. But he probably did 10 jobs for me before it got to that point. So if you do find yourself wanting to talk to somebody outside of Fiverr, just be smart, have it make sense for why you're contacting them. Don't do like I've had people do, where I contact them about doing a job, and then they send me an email as soon as I sign up for the job. It says, hey, send me your email. I need to talk with you about something. And you know what it's about. And the first thing they tell you is, hey, the Fiverr fees are too high. Can we just do this through PayPal? And I won't do it with them, especially I don't know them. So that's a real turnoff for people as well. So if you need some help with your writing, 2 resources that I mentioned before: How to Write and Publish Your Own Ebook in as little as 7 days, version 2.0. You can go to 7dayebook.com and you can get the best course on the entire internet for writing and publishing an ebook for $29. You can't beat it. And if you bought it 10 years ago, I've updated it. I've added a bunch of stuff. And so if you need to, buy it again. Get the new version. And turn words into traffic for the article writing education part. You go to turnwordsintotraffic.com. This will teach you how to write a kick-ass article. But I will just admit freely right up front that the stuff about promoting articles is somewhat dated in some spots. So I'm Jim Edwards. I hope you enjoyed this.